going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition, a special edition. Happy football night here as Kansas City will take on the Detroit Lions. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here live on Amped Up Sports. How do we start off the Sports Web? I'll do my best. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. In about an hour here, we're going to do an NFL preview show previewing all the divisions with Amped Up Sports people and, of course, the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty. So without further ado, let's not waste any time because I know you want to watch the Chiefs versus the Lions tonight. Let's get the man on. Here we go. Coach Scout and Out media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Welcome to a special edition of the Sports Web Live here on Amped Up Sports. How you doing tonight? Happy football day, my friend.
I'm doing fine, Peter. I put out my podcast and my little, Leo's memo. Hey, the NFL is here. And we're going to have all our guys. And folks, before you get all excited, Peter's got to run the board. We got 16 people showing up tonight. So yes. if you don't hear a lot of Peter, it's because he's trying to get people in and out. So, Peter, what do you say we get to the first group?
Yeah, let's go out to it. Our first group here, it's going to be the AFC East. And, of course, lots of intrigue there. Let's go out to Jason Rubin and Will Lewis. Guys, welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television live here on Amped Up Sports. How you doing tonight, gentlemen?
Doing great. I'm glad to be here. I'm in my DJ studio, but we're here to talk football. There's nothing about music today. It's all about football today.
Well, yeah, no, love music, so we'll definitely have to link once football season starts. You know, we can always talk about music here on the Sports Web, but I think a lot of music to a lot of everybody's ears out there, especially Jets fans, has to be Aaron Rodgers. That's a big-time story. You have the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, gentlemen. I mean, how do you see this division working out? I'll go with you first, Will, and then we'll go out to you, Jason.
All right. So, of course, it's music to the Jets' ears that Aaron Rodgers is here. But the Jets have a really good defense. The real question for them will be their offensive line. That's the real question. Can they keep Aaron Rodgers upright? That is the real question. But I see, the Buffalo Bills are still a Buffalo Bills, right? So this game with this coming Monday is going to be a very intriguing game because you start off the season with arguably the top two teams in the division. Arguably, the Jets are going to be really, really good. You still got Miami to think about, and if Tua can stay upright himself, they are loaded in Miami. So, it could be a crapshoot between who's second and third between Miami and the Jets. I don't see New England surprising anybody again coming out of this division. But the real question is, they have a whole bunch of issues that they need to solve. The real question is it almost time for Bill Belichick? That's the real question.
That is the real question, Jason. And, Leo, go ahead and start out with some questions yourself, my friend. Go for it.
Yeah. You know what, Jason, who wins the division?
I'm going to have to go with the Jets. I'm not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers, especially with the way they're, talented roster, talented team last year for sure. They were a quarterback away. Then they got one of the greatest quarterbacks, of all time. So I'm going with the Jets as my pick. I think it's the toughest division in all of the NFL. Definitely, between the Bills are loaded. You have Josh Allen there. They went 13-3 last year. Some people say Miami last year, the Dolphins, when they were healthy, they were, one of the most dangerous, one of the best teams in the NFL for sure. They started out 3-0. Beating some really, really good teams along the way. Then you have the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, like I mentioned. And then you can't really sleep on Bill Belichick, can you?
No, you can't. You definitely can't sleep on Bill Belichick. All right. Will, who wins the division in your opinion?
I mean, you got to go. To me, I got to go with the Buffalo Bills only because you can't not go with them until they are knocked off. So, Josh Allen is going to be back. Everybody's back for Buffalo, so they're the favorites to win the division. I think that they will win the division. But let me tell you, Monday night will really tell how this division is going to pan out and how it's going to play out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Leo, what else?
You know what? Well, you already said it's going to be basically a coin flip for second between the Dolphins and the Jason, who do you got as second?
I got the Jets winning it all. You can't really bet against Buffalo at this point. They're so talented. Their roster, you got guys like Ed Oliver. They added Leonard Floyd to the mix. They have Shaq Lawson. Once Von Miller comes back from injury, that's just the defense. We're not even talking about Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. They got some really good tight ends. They got Damian Harris at running back. Latavius. Then you have Josh Allen, who can just at quarterback can just run over anyone. So really, I think that it's a crapshoot for the division. I have the Jets. And then I have the Bills second. Then I got the Dolphins. Then I have the Patriots. That's the order I have it in. But so much talent in this division, top to bottom. When you're talking about the Patriots and a Bill Belichick team being last in anything, that's just gives you an idea how competitive this division is going to be.
All right, guys. Lastly here, last question, Leo, or is that it? Are we done with our AFC East correspondence?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Will, Jason, thanks a lot for joining us here on
Will, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I lost you there for a second.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Appreciate it, guys. There we go. We'll get them out of there. So the AFC East is done right there. Now let's go out to the NFC South. And you guys may know this guy's name. Quite familiar here in the Tampa Bay area. Let's go out to Mr. Roy Cummings. Welcome to the Sports Web Air Live on Amped Up Sports with the NFL Preview Show. How you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. Yeah, absolutely. So Leo started off.
Yeah, you know what, Roy? Let's get right to the meat and potatoes here. Who wins the division in your mind?
Man, flip a coin. It's impossible to know at this point. It really is. Not dodging the question in any way, but it's just impossible to know at this point. You could pick the Bucks. You could pick the Saints. Does anyone stand out? I don't think so. I would say the Bucks have just as good a chance as Carolina, as does Atlanta, as does New Orleans. I think most people probably like New Orleans, but I wouldn't count out Tampa Bay. I still think they're probably the most talented team in the division.
Leo?
Roy, let's stay on the second question. Who finishes second, or is it second by default?
Yeah, second by default sounds about right. Look, I don't think the division winner is going to have any more than the 9 wins. I doubt it'll have 10. So second place team, probably a 6, 7, 8 win team, and not likely to get a playoff spot as a wild card. So you've got to win the division here, I think, in order to get to the playoffs. These teams in this division, if you don't win it, if you don't win the division, I don't think you're going to the playoffs. You're not going to be in the postseason.
Go ahead, Leo.
You know what, Roy? When talking to you here, it doesn't sound like you're real confident in these teams going far into the playoffs. One and done, basically?
Yeah, that seems about right. And, again, obviously things could change. You got 17 games to play here. Let's see where everything goes. I think depends on the matchup. It depends on how healthy a team is. You get the right matchup in the playoffs, you could certainly win a game. But I don't see anybody from the South at this point going any more than one game through the playoffs. They'll, they may get a home game. But even then, I don't think anyone's going to win a playoff game here from this division. Not this year. It could be completely different next year. But for this season, I don't see anybody in this division winning a playoff game.
I got one final question here, Roy. We got to get you back on the Sports Web another time here on a Monday and Wednesday night. Over under, how many wins did the Bucks have this year? Over 8 from last year. Over or under?
Yeah, I think they can win at least 8 games. I'm going to go over again because I think they are the most talented team in the division. Look, you've taken Tom Brady away. That's obviously a big subtraction, but you've still got as good a receiving core as there is in the league, a young running back core that I think is getting better and going to surprise some people this year. The defense, I think, is solid. I think they'll be able to at least harass the passer, if not get to him, create some takeaway opportunities. The kicking game should be solid. I think this is a solid football team. I think they can win at least 8 games, maybe 9, win the division. And, who knows, possibly, as I said, get the right matchup, maybe get to the playoffs and win a game there.
All right. Leo, anything else,
Roy,
buddy?
let's get to the last question. Let me get to the last question real quick. Who's in the Super Bowl and who wins? Rub off your crystal ball on that one.
How about San Francisco and Buffalo? Let's get a couple of new teams in there. Let's try that. How about San Francisco and Buffalo?
All right. There you go. San Francisco,
wins?
the Buffalo Bills.
Got to go with John Lynch and the San Francisco 49ers, my man.
There you go.
Roy, thanks for coming on, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate you, Roy. There we go. So that was the NFC South right there. I'll tell you what, let's go out to the AFC West. Let's get that on here. Hold on a sec. There it is right there. And let's go out to Mr. David Alexander. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Leo, go for it.
Gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you, Leo. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Wait. Yeah, when you're talking gentlemen, I'm looking around the room. Maybe you see somebody I don't know. But David, let's get right to the bottom line. This may be the toughest division in football, not top to bottom, but 1, 2, and 3. Who do you got winning the division?
I still have Kansas City, even though they're starting the season without Chris Jones, and we're not sure how long Travis Kelce's going to get hurt. Andy Reid knows what he's doing. He has the best player in all of football with Patrick Mahomes. I think the Chargers are close, but they're the Chargers. So we have to always be careful about giving too much weight to the Chargers. But I think that the Chiefs are still the best team really in the entire conference. But I think in this division particularly, with the Chargers close, but still not close enough. Let's put it that way.
Let me ask you this. If Russell starts cooking in Denver, can they make a run at the second spot in the Chargers?
I think the one challenge, and Wilson's getting most of the attention, but they're really struggling with depth. They don't have depth in their offensive line. They don't have depth in their wide receivers. I think their defense will play well, but they're missing some pieces on offense, even if Russ plays better football, which I think he's going to play better this year for a bunch of reasons. I think he can play well, and they still, I think, are going to struggle a bit just because they're lacking depth. I think that's the real challenge for Denver, particularly in the offensive line. I think that's going to be a wide receiver as well, too. But I think Russ will play better. I don't think he's going to get much of a chance. If he doesn't play well, he could find himself sitting on the bench. The great thing about Sean Payton, and we're all old enough, is this really is the ghost of Bill Parcells. This is really what we're talking about here. And he's made it very clear that everybody's playing with different rules this year, including the quarterback. He had this great quote yesterday, telling Russ to stop kissing babies and stop being a politician. That's a Bill Parcells line right there. So Russ is smart enough to know what he's up against, and if it doesn't work, he'll find himself a very expensive backup quarterback, and it's going to cost the Broncos a lot of money either to keep him or get rid of him after this year is over. But I'm hoping for a better year from him, quite frankly.
You know what, David? How bad is Las Vegas?
Well, now we're going through this situation with Chandler Jones where they sent a crisis team to his house last night. And, he made it clear he doesn't want to play for the team. I think the big thing of the Raiders is they're sort of out of excuses. They got rid of Derek Carr. He was the scapegoat for the last 3 years. He's gone now. Jimmy Garoppolo is at best a lateral move because we're never sure how healthy Garoppolo is going to be. You got Josh Jacobs, who was unhappy, even though he got a pretty good piece of money after the Zollhover. Got pretty unhappy there. Darren Waller is gone, who I think was a terrific tight end, although he really couldn't stay healthy. They got a tough schedule. The first 4 games: Broncos, Bills, Steelers, Chargers.
Wow.
So I think they might get off to a pretty rough start. I think the jury is still out if Josh McDaniels is really head coaching material. So it could be one of those years where a lot of close games, which they lose with a brutal schedule in the beginning. And then around Christmas time, Dolphins, Chiefs, Vikings, Chargers, Chiefs. So they get the Chiefs 3 times in 4 weeks. That's going to be a tough schedule. We'll see what happens. Again, I've never been the biggest Jimmy Garoppolo fan. To me, he sort of epitomizes what a game manager is, and he can't stay healthy. And I think Derek Carr got a pretty bad rap there, and I think a lot of Raiders fans are going to wish Derek Carr was still around if Garoppolo has the typical Garoppolo year where he plays okay and then gets hurt sometime along the way and is sort of lost for the rest of the season. The Chandler Jones situation is might be indicative of how this organization is run, not very well, and it doesn't bode well for how the season might go for the Raiders.
Hey, David, last question, and thanks for joining us.
Sure.
Who's in the Super Bowl and who wins it?
I've gone back and forth
crystal ball on that one, buddy.
You know, again, I don't see either the Chiefs. It's very hard for the 2 teams that got there to get back. I think the Eagles have all of the pieces, but I think they got lucky last year with injuries, those things as well, too. I think, and again, as the previous caller talked about, I think Buffalo and the 49ers, I think this might be Buffalo's year. The window's kind of closing, particularly on the defense. Guys getting older. Josh Allen's proven he can do a lot. So I'm going to say Buffalo and San Francisco. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win the Super Bowl.
Wow, there you go. And that was a pick by Roy Cummings there. So definitely thank you, David, for joining us here on our NFL preview show on Amped Up Sports on the Sports Web. All right, my friend?
My pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
There you go. Good stuff there. So the AFC West is down. So what do you think about the pick so far? I got to ask you, what do you think?
Well, you know what? I don't disagree with him. I go, Peter, I put out mine today, and I said it, the Eagles, yeah, that's an easy one. I'm thinking with the North, the Lions, just because of what they're doing.
Right.
And in the West, I think the Rams, because they're going to have a healthy Stafford. And in the NFC South, hey, good luck. Flip a coin. I'm saying the Saints. Well, let's go to the AFC real quick. All right.
Yeah.
I still like the Bills.
Okay.
I like the Steelers with what they're doing. Kansas City is almost a no-brainer in the West. And in the South, I like the Jaguars, and I like the Jaguars and the Eagles to meet at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. And let's see who's the best. I think the Green's going to come away. The Eagles are coming away with the Lombardi Trophy. All
right. So there you go. Let's go out to the NFC West now. Let's get on Mr. Rick Moore. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. Welcome. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And
you get ready to go into space? You get ready to do space travel with those ear things? What the heck's going on there?
I thought it made me look professional. Come on now, cut me some slack.
All right, Leo, go for it.
Hey, I like the Giants hat too. That's great. Hey,
well,
Rick,
it symbolizes.
You've been
San
doing
Francisco.
this for years with us. Yes, it is, and I got a feeling that's where you're going with your pick. But I'll let you say it. Who wins the West?
San Francisco. Yeah, I think I have to go with the 49ers. We had all the attention yesterday, right, with the Bosa signing. So I think you ought to just award the trophy to us right now, and we can skip all this stuff.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me throw the second one at you then. Who finishes second?
Got to be Seattle. I don't know about you and the Rams. I'm not sure where you're coming up with that one. They are better than the Cardinals, but that's not saying a whole heck of a lot. I got to go with Seattle. Coach Carroll, one of the best. Obviously, Smith last year had a tremendous year. If he can repeat it, they got a chance. But he's been playing 9 seasons in the NFL. Don't know if he's got the consistency to do it again. So I think it's 49ers all the way. I think that Bosa signing yesterday, he's going to be on the field on Sunday. He's going to give them a lot of motivation, and they're ready to go. I don't see anybody beating the 49ers, Leo.
You know what, Rick? I asked David this question. How bad is Vegas? How bad is Arizona? I'll throw that out at you.
Arizona's bad. I'm not even sure what the strategy is in Arizona anymore. I mean, you let Hopkins walk and you trade Simmons, and I don't know what they're doing. It's kind of like my Giants. I'm not sure what the heck's going on with that. I don't know what the strategy is, but they're going to be dead last. They're going to suffer. Murray's maybe out the whole year, and he's going to get a big paycheck every month, but he may be out all year. And if he is, they may not win a game. They're awful. I mean, I think they're worse than Las Vegas. And again, I'm not sure they got a new coach, no quarterback. They haven't even designated a quarterback. They're playing football in a couple of days, Leo. So they're bad.
Are you there, Leo? I think Leo is
Yeah,
frozen. Okay. All right. There you go.
Yeah, there I am. You know what, Rick? I'm going to take this back to when Kansas City won the Super Bowl, and you had picked the 49ers, and you thought everything was hunky-dory, and then all of a sudden, wham, Tyreek Hill went nuts with like a 60-yard pass, and you were all ready to rub it in, and you had to eat a little crow, didn't you, pal?
I knew you'd bring that back up. I'm not sure why I knew that, but I figured I'd have to hear about that one again. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do since you're going to bring that up. I'm going to pick the same thing. I'm going with Super Bowl 54 again. Going with the 49ers. I'm going with the Chiefs. And I think that the 49ers are going to take it this time. And if you got anything to say about it, you're the person that's picking New Orleans and the Rams. I'm not sure who you're picking, but I love the Eagles. You know that. But I'm tired of watching Kansas City. I feel like 49ers got it well in hand this year if the quarterback situation stays stable. But the 49ers going to take it all. But the Chiefs are just so tough. No matter how much you don't like them, no matter how tired you are of them, they just seem to be there because of Mahomes. He was limping around last year with a broke ankle, and I don't know what the heck was going on. But next thing you know, he's throwing touchdown passes, and they win the Super Bowl against our Eagles. So not happy with that situation. Not happy with the holding call. Can I bring that up? And then
No, you and half for Philadelphia, right?
Sorry to bring that
Yeah,
up after a half a year. You know,
who
that's how
that
much
one,
that
didn't
would
he?
hurt. That would really hurt, man. I gotta tell you.
For sure.
So,
Pete,
you know,
you got a
Philadelphia
final
people.
question for Rick there?
Do I got a final question for him? How bad is Arizona? Are they going to really be the worst team in the National Football League? Yes or no? Why and why or why not?
Yes, they're going to be the worst. And obviously, again, they have no seeming strategy for winning. They've changed head coaches. They got a new guy in there. They've got no quarterback. Murray's probably not going to play all year and still collect the big check. I think that they're the worst team in the NFL at the moment. They may have some strategy, but it's kind of like the Mets. It ain't about next year. Better be about something later on down the road. And still, I don't even see what that is. So, yeah, the Cardinals going to be the worst, unfortunately.
All right. Thanks a lot, Rick. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Absolutely. There you go. Previewing the
Enjoyed it.
NFC West right there. Tell you what, somebody familiar that you would actually know, we're going to bring him on. He's also going to preview the NFC West. Mr. Brady. Brady, welcome to the Sports Web here on Amped Up Sports. You're also previewing the NFC West. Go ahead, Mr. Leo, a.k.a. Grandpa.
Well, yeah, Grandpa's going to ask some questions. Brady, hey, thanks for joining us. Who wins your division Is it going to be Seattle? Is it going to be San Francisco? Is it going to be the Rams? We know it's not the Cardinals. Who wins?
Oh no way. So my hope, I want it to be the Seahawks because we just got a very good picks this year. We got a couple good, incredible athletes, some very, very good older players like Bobby Wagner coming back from the Rams. He'll bring the defense back. But I feel like it's going to be the Rams, even though they're not playing this well in the preseason. With Aaron Donald, that line is very, very just dominant on the field. So,
he thinks the Rams. All right.
Well, he listens to Grandpa. That's the thing.
Yes, he does.
Brady, who finishes second? Is it the Seahawks or the 49ers?
Seahawks, just without Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, if he's not injured. If he's injured, probably Seahawks. But if he's not, probably them.
Mm-hmm. Who do you like to get to the Super Bowl, and who wins it?
I'm feeling Chiefs and Seahawks, or Chiefs and Rams.
Who wins?
Probably the Chiefs, just because Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, amazing. Well, Brady, thank you for joining us. Don't be a stranger. We're going to get you back on here in 3-4 weeks to see how your predictions are. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Thank you, Brady. Appreciate you. There we go. So we did the NFC West. We also did the AFC West, but we'll go back to the AFC West because we also got you covered on that. Let's go out to Jeff Podolak.
Jeff Podolak.
Yes. Welcome to the Sports Web here live on Amped Up Sports.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Doing great, buddy. Doing great.
We're
go ahead.
Fine. Jeff, let me throw it out right to you. Who wins the West? Now, David Alexander says Kansas City. You got a different opinion, or are you on board with that?
No, I agree with that. They're the best coach and quarterback tandem.
Okay.
How hard is it as an Eagles fan like myself to look at the success Andy Reid's having in Kansas City?
I think you just got to be encouraged. It's just nice to see your old coach do well.
Who's the second place team in the West? You know, Kansas City wins it. Is it just basically the Chargers and Denver and Vegas are just showing up?
I think the Chargers making a move this year. I think they're the second place team.
Nice. Who do you think gets to the Super Bowl and who wins?
I think the Super Bowl is going to be between Cincinnati and Philadelphia. I like Philadelphia to win.
Nice. Peter, any questions for Jeff before we get him out of there?
No, I think I'm good with that. I think Cincinnati, Philadelphia is a pretty good pick. I think a lot of people are going to be favoring that pick, and it's going to come down to, is Joe Burrow going to be healthy for the year? I think Philly's improved. Still, a lot of people told me, no more questions, buddy. You're good.
Jeff, thanks for coming on, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, good stuff there. So the AFC West is done at this point. So we were waiting for the AFC South, the NFC East, the AFC North, and the NFC North. But there's somebody else that's on that panel for the AFC South, right? I think they're actually in. They're in the room right now. Oh yeah, it's Leo Haggerty. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you, who's going to win the division and why, Leo Haggerty?
You know what? Steve Arcardapone should be coming on shortly, and I'm not going to steal his thunder, but I got to like the Jaguars with what they're doing down there. You know, Coach Peterson has them rolling, and he's got Trevor Lawrence heading in the right direction. And I'll tell you what, Ridley's going to be the comeback player of the year. He is going to turn that entire offense around because now they're going to have an outside threat that people are going to have to to look at. So, yeah, I like the Jaguars.
Who finishes second in that division, Leo Haggerty? Is it Tennessee or is it somebody different?
Boy, I'll tell you, that's tough. I don't think it's the Texans or the Colts because they got a new quarterback. So I think it's Tennessee by default. But I'll tell you what, if Tennessee gets into the playoffs, you do not want to play them because they may not beat you, but they will beat you up. You know, Vrabel, we watched Vrabel down here last year when they showed up for that week of preseason practices and that. And I'll tell you what, they get after it. So, yeah, I think Tennessee's second no matter what.
All right, who has more wins, Leo Haggerty, in that division as a rookie quarterback? Is it Anthony Richardson or is it C.J. Stroud? And why or why not?
Wow, that's a tough question, Peter. I got a feeling both of them are looking at 4 or 5.
Okay.
Depending upon, and again, Houston's going to have an easier schedule because they had a worse record last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Stroud is going to have more. And again, it's going to be really growing pains for Richardson because he hasn't played a lot of football yet. So, but he's got Sean Streetum as the coach, who was basically the coach whisperer of Jalen Hurts last year. So yeah, it should be a good situation there for the Colts if they don't rush this kid. Same thing in Houston. Don't rush him. You know, if you start him, you're going to have to get. Peter, you know my thoughts on this. What was Peyton Manning's winning percentage his rookie year? He won 1 game.
Yeah, one game and threw 28 or 29 interceptions.
He turned out pretty well, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he did. He absolutely did. But I feel like Richardson would be helped out by Jonathan Taylor, that Jonathan Taylor situation. What do you think of that? How is that going to work out? What a disaster by the Colts and Jim Irsay, right?
Total disaster, Peter. I don't understand what they're thinking here because you know what the quarterback's best friend is? An offensive line, a really good running game, and a great tight end. Well, you just took away that running game when you took away Jonathan Taylor. I don't know what they're thinking out in Indianapolis, but then again, you know, they hired an announcer last year as their head coach. So, you know, nothing surprises me about the Colts. That's for sure.
That's absolutely for sure. All right. So who is in the Super Bowl and why? And who wins the Super Bowl?
You know what? I like the Jaguars getting there.
Wow.
I really do. You know, think about it. If it wasn't for a wet football, they're going to be tied with Kansas City in the fourth quarter. You know, they gave Kansas City all they could handle. And that team grew up a lot. So, again, I wouldn't want to have to go to Jacksonville to play a playoff game. So, yeah, that's I like Jacksonville. I like the Eagles just because they got a quarterback who seems indestructible, which is a good mentality to have. But and I like the Eagles winning it. But it's going to be a close game out in Vegas.
All right, good stuff there. So that's your AFC South. We've got Mr. Al Curtis coming on here previewing the NFC East so far here. We got some comments. Jeremiah says, hello, everyone. Jeremiah, AFC is Miami. Dolphins are going to win guaranteed. I mean, for me, of course, you look at that team overall with Tua, if he's healthy, with the weapons on the outside with Hill and Waddle, you would certainly agree that they have an opportunity to win that division, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, just that's going to be who can stay healthy. You know, that's a quarterback-driven division right now, and that quarterback better be healthy. And right now, that's not a good situation.
No, it's definitely
team we just talked about.
Definitely not a good situation here. Eagles and Buffalo. That says that's Tina there. Says hi to Rick Moore. And you know I'm right. Hi, Peter. What's going on, guys? What you're tuning into right now is a special edition of the Sports Web NFL Preview Show brought to you by Amped Up Sports. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Let's go out to the NFC East, which has been talked about tonight a lot with the teams there. Let's go out to Al Curtis. Welcome to the Evolution, my friend. How you doing tonight?
I am doing great, Peter. How are you? Leo, very good to see you, my friend. I hope all is well.
Hey, I'll tell you what, it's good to be seen, my buddy. Yeah, how was parent-teacher night?
Parent-teacher night just ended. As you can see, I'm still in the classroom. It went well. I'm still standing. No, it's too early in the year for anybody to be really mad at me. So
I get you.
All right.
Yeah.
Leo,
hey, Al,
go ahead and kick it off.
Let me throw it out at you right now. Who wins the East?
All right, who wins the NFC East? It's the Eagles. Okay, now I'd see the Eagles. If you look at their record, the best record I think they could have this year is 13-4. All right, the worst record, and again, this is barring anything, a catastrophe, major injuries, catastrophe. Worst record I think the Eagles could have is 10-7. That'd be the worst. All right, but I see them best 13-4. Worst 10-7. How about you, Leo? Where are you putting them? As I'm putting them as number one.
I got them getting to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so do I. So do I.
That's it. Now, let's flip a coin. Who is second? The Cowboys?
You know what?
Giants?
Again, if I look at the Giants and the Cowboys, I think both the most wins they're going to get is 11. I look at their schedule. I look at what, and you got to NFC East. You got to put a split for each game. Nobody's sweeping. Okay, so they're going to split. Somebody's going to win, the opening day, and then they're going to split. So best both of them going to do is 11-6. The worst the Giants will do, I think, is 9-8. Well, I think the Cowboys could be 8-9. It'll be a really interesting year, but I think the Giants are second. I think the addition of Darren Waller at tight end is going to be huge. They still don't have a true number one outside receiver. Which if they had that would really open things up for Waller. But I think, Darren Waller is really going to help Jones at quarterback. And they just got to keep growing on the defensive end of it. Dallas is better defensively with Quinn and with the talent they have. Dallas is better defensively, but I just think the Giants are one game better this year than the Cowboys.
You know what, Al? Let me throw this out at you. Washington.
Oh,
are they a sleeper?
I thought so, Leo. I really did. And then their players started to complain, their running backs, about the enemy working them too hard. And they went to Rivera. Do they know who Rivera played for?
Yeah.
He played for Mike Ditka.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Yeah. So I honestly, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, yeah, they could be a sleeper. And the more I look, I mean, Chase Young's probably not going to play in game one. That shouldn't matter. They should probably still, beat the Cardinals. Okay. But they've got some dudes on defense. Quarterback's unproven. I know they're talking highly of him. You got one decent receiver. I just don't see it, Leo, unless you do on the defensive side.
Al, I don't. I don't see it. I
love Rivera. I love the coach.
That. Yeah. I mean, if you're whining about the guy working you too hard, man, hey, there's the door. Get out.
I don't think that would have happened, when Joe Gibbs was coaching.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah, that'd be sayonara. You know what I mean? Hey, Al, who gets to the Super Bowl and who wins it?
Again, I'm kind of go homey here, but I do think the Eagles return to the Super Bowl. I think they might be better offensively this year than they were last year. Okay, number one. So, and again, as long as their quarterback stays healthy, I think they get to the Super Bowl. I loved your Jacksonville idea of the rematch with Doug Peterson, and I was thinking about that. But I think this could probably be the year of Joe Burrow getting there from the AFC. I don't see KC repeating, despite all the talent they have. And I love their coach, Andy Reid. I just don't see them getting back. And again, Buffalo is right there, but they've got issues with their receiver.
It's Buffalo, right, Al? Something's going to happen. It's Buffalo.
and Diggs is not happy. Something's going to happen there. I mean, the Eagles Buffalo game right after Thanksgiving is going to be hysterical, and that's must watch TV. The 26th of November in Philly.
Absolutely. Peter, you got any questions for Coach Al?
No, I'm good. I think he's answered all the questions that we've asked him at this point. I mean, I still feel like Philadelphia is the most improved team in that division, and that's saying a lot because they were a Super Bowl participant. Do you think there's a team that could overtake them? Do you think the Giants or the Cowboys, specifically the Giants?
Not yet. As long as our quarterback is upright, no. I just don't see it happening. And again, this is going to be an interesting year for Dalbo. All right. He was a great coach last year, and he's proven to be a good coach, but year 2 is always interesting. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully the bloom does not come off and they continue to progress. But again, you look at their schedule, they do play the Jets. They're going to have some fun games. So, but I just still see it's the Eagles. And on the other side, I mean, nobody's coming out of the South. I'm sorry, that's going to be able to compete.
Nope, not a chance.
They just don't have it. You look over, so you wipe out the South. You go over to the West, San Francisco.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are lucky they're in the NFC right now. It wasn't always like that, but the AFC. And then who's coming out? Who do you guys have coming out of the North? Is it Chicago?
I got the Lions.
You got the Lions. Oh, I love Dan Campbell. Again, you're talking the Lions, you're talking the Bears, you're talking the Vikings. The Vikings are the only team that's been there recently, Green Bay. But so you're going to have some one and dones probably with the Bears and the Lions if they get in. So I think as long as the Eagles stay healthy, I think the path is there for them to get to the Super Bowl again. I really do. Maybe not with as many wins as last year, but because their schedule's tougher. But I just see the path. The path is there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you go. Al, thanks a lot for joining us here on Amped Up Sports on the Sports Web Special Edition NFL Preview Show, my friend.
Gentlemen, it's great seeing you. Why don't you, if you need, you can throw me back into the waiting room, and if you need me to jump on again, I will do that since I've got to hang out here for a little bit.
All right, stand by. There you go. Tell you what.
He's going to use his second call, Peter, right?
That's it. He's definitely going to use his second call. And I tell you what, let's go back out to the AFC South. And we've got, and I'm not going to try to pronounce
Steve Varcardapone.
Varcardapone. There you go. Welcome to the Sports Web here live on Amped Up Sports NFL Preview Edition. How you doing tonight, my friend? And
Steve, how you doing, buddy?
He's speechless at this point. So we're gonna.
Looks like he's frozen.
It looks like he is frozen. Let's see if we can get him back on there. Let's see. So lots of talk tonight with all these divisions. It seems like it's pretty cut and dry, but we know the NFL is not like that. So what do you think? What division to you, besides the obvious one, which is the NFC South? Which division to you think could be up for grabs?
NFC North.
Wow. Okay.
Everybody's throwing the Vikings under the bus. I don't see that. Everybody thinks Green Bay, with the new quarterback's going to do well. Everybody thinks Chicago's going to do. I think Chicago's still the same Chicago Bears.
Really?
I know Harry the Greek's not going to like to hear that, but until you show me different, that's a bottom dweller in the NFC North. If we go over to the AFC, I think the AFC North is the same way.
Yes.
You've got a banged up Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
What is Deshaun Watson going to do in Cleveland?
Yep.
It's going to happen in Pittsburgh because Mike Tomlin's going to have 9 wins. It's just going to be who's he going to beat. And then you got Baltimore. Yeah, I mean, this team division could have all 4 teams between 8 and 10 wins. They could.
And I think Baltimore could ascend because finally Lamar Jackson has some weapons. You have Odell Beckham. You have Bateman. They got the kid Zay Flowers from Boston College. They're very impressed with him. And look out, they got Todd Monken as their new offensive coordinator. Baltimore could be the team to beat Everybody expects Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, but it could be Baltimore's year. Tell you what, let's go back out to Mr. Steve here. Let's see if we got him finally. Steve, and that is not Steve. That is Blackness. So let's see if we can get him back on. I guess he's not going to be coming on. So there he is. There he's moving. Let's see if we can get him on. He is just shaking his head right now. I know how you feel. You got to love tech here, Steve. Welcome, buddy. You're previewing the AFC.
There we go.
Yes, I am. All the way over here in Dallas, Texas. Obviously, no internet here in Texas. So hot. 108 today, boys. 108.
Oh, Lord.
108.
That's terrible.
That's like my kitchen on Saturday night. Everything burns. Leo, go for it.
Steve, you had the greatest line a couple of years ago when I asked you about tackling Henry. I said, is that a business decision? And you said, no, it's not a business decision. In the fourth quarter, it's a retirement decision. Has he slowed down, or are the Titans still looking at him to run some more?
I think they are looking at him to have really a bounce back season and try to play all 17 games. And if they can, and if he does stay healthy, I mean, I still think he is a grown man against other grown men, but he is so big and so powerful. And I think he's got something to prove this year too, because like all the guys in the NFL, they want to get to that next paycheck. And I'm sure he wants to get one more out of the Titans if he can. So he's going to give it his all this year. But if he can stay healthy, I wouldn't want to tackle that guy first, second, third, or fourth quarter.
Absolutely. Steve, is it between the Titans and the Jaguars for the division title?
I think it is, and I really don't think it's close. I think, if I had to pick right now, the Jaguars are young, fast, hungry. Trevor Lawrence looks so much different that second year in the league, and then that first year with Doug Peterson. He's now in his third year in the league, but second year with his offense, I think he's going to do amazing things. They signed Evan Ingram back. I mean, they are just look like they're going to be rolling on offense if they can stay healthy. If their defense can be in the top 15, top 12 in the NFL, they're going to be a tough team to beat in the division and then also in that playoff, which, as you know, the AFC is deep.
Absolutely. Steve, I picked the Jaguars to go to the Super Bowl with the Eagles, and the Eagles winning. Who do you have?
Okay, that's a great question. I went with the battle of all green. I went Jets, Jets against the Philadelphia Eagles. See which green is better this February. But the Jaguars have the opportunity. They have the talent. But I just think you watch the Hard Knocks and you kind of start to fall in love with this new Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh and see what those Jets can do. And if they can stay healthy, man, they got a lot of talent on offense and a defense that it just is nasty.
Yeah, the offense sells tickets, defense wins championships, right, Steve?
Sure, for sure.
All right.
Hey, you got any questions of Steve before we go?
I think he's definitely answered all the questions. Thanks a lot for tuning in here and getting on the Sports Web live on Amped Up Sports on the special edition of the NFL Preview Show. Appreciate you, buddy. All right.
Appreciate you guys. Football starting. All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Yes,
there
sir.
you go. So AFC South right there. Let's see here. We'll get that off the screen. I tell you what, let's go out to some of these comments. Christopher Cole, love you, guy. Right there. Hey, what's going on, buddy? Yeah. Shayna Combs is happy about the NFL Preview Show. Appreciate that. She says it's super hot in Texas, and I would say just like yourself. There you go. One. There you go. Shayna Richardson, who I think is the same person. Maybe it's not. Go Jags. So there you go. Thanks a lot for tuning in here on YouTube and Facebook on the Sports Web live here with Leo Haggerty. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about, as I always do here. So what do we have next? Do we want to go to the AFC North? Do we want to go to that division? Because we kind of been talking about that, and we do have Al Curtis. So do we want to go to that one really quick?
Well, we have we had Al. Do we have anybody else in the room back there, Peter?
We do not. We just have Al at this point. So I say we go with the AFC North with Mr. Al Curtis returning again. Welcome. And Leo, take it away.
Uh-oh. You know what, Al? I think the AFC North is the new black and blue division. Would you agree?
The AFC North is the new black and blue division. Yes, I would 100% agree with that, Leo. Okay. I mean, I think that you guys spoke about, you could have 4 teams right there competing for that title right at the end. So for the championship of their
You know what, Al? When I think the Steelers with Kenny Pickett, they're a surprise team in that division. You better not sleep on the Steelers. What do you think?
Here's why I don't think you should sleep on the Steelers. I think Najee Harris is going to have a year. Okay, he was kind of banged up last year. He's a dang good running back, Leo. And you know, running backs, Connors, they do real well in Pittsburgh, and he'll do much better this year. So they're solid at tight end. Not great on the outside again, not awesome on the outside receivers, but Tomlin football, like you said, you're going to get 9 wins. You're going to get 9 wins with him as a coach. He's a strong coach. In that division, they're just like you said, they're just going to bang heads, and it's black and blue football.
Absolutely. And we got your son AJ coming on shortly to talk AFC North as well. Al, you see a lot of lacrosse players also playing football. Why is that?
It's just a natural combination, Leo. It really is. It's and again, I grew up playing baseball. You grew up playing baseball and football. That's what we did. There was no lacrosse. But lacrosse crossover, it's a crossover sport. You're running, you're hitting, you're working on angles. It's all of those things. And for young kids that like to run and hit people, it's the sport. And they work real well together. It's funny, when I started coaching it, you could always tell who the soccer kids were and who the football kids were. So the football kids would all attack the ball. Whoever had the ball, every football kid was running to him. And the soccer kids would space the field, play the game like it was kind of supposed to be played, when they were younger. But it's just fun to watch that, because football kids, they didn't care about spacing. They cared about, there's the ball, I got to go get that because I need that ball back, and then I'll run with it. So, but it is, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the two.
You know what, Al? The game has changed a lot since you and I played it, and what's the biggest thing in the NFL that you've seen change? I think it's because now the quarterbacks are more mobile. Would you agree?
In the NFL, the quarterbacks being more mobile is huge. I mean, think about somebody made a great point the other day. What if the NFL had let Tim Tebow be Tim Tebow when he came out? What if they let him
what,
run?
Al?
Did. Now, am I saying he wouldn't won a Super Bowl? No. But if they had let Tim Tebow be Tim Tebow, he'd had a much better NFL career. But they tried to put him in a box, which is what they always used to do with the quarterbacks. Okay? So you're right. It's another runner. You can't account for it. You want to run a lead now? You can run a lead with one back. Okay? You can spread the field and still run lead. You got your running back's the lead blocker, and now you're running the quarterback. You get an extra guy at the point of attack while you're spreading the field. Was not happening.
I said that last night in my class. I said the biggest change is now you got to account for the quarterback as a runner. When you didn't have to account for the quarterback as a runner, that was no problem. But now with the spread offense and everybody's spread out all over the field, you can't put a guy on the quarterback, and you really have to. You can't play Canadian. You need 12, and you don't have 12. That's a problem. Peter, you got any questions for Al?
I mean, I think, honestly, Al, the most dangerous team in the AFC North right now has to be the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, because finally Jackson has some weapons there. Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham. I mean, I think the question mark is not only that new offense? Can Lamar excel in it? And then on top of it, can that defense play well enough to shut down those other teams in that division? What do you think about Baltimore in the AFC North?
I agree with you. I think you're gonna, we all forget what Lamar Jackson was 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Everybody, thinking about what he was last year when he was banged up, but 2 years ago he was the MVP of the NFL. Okay, of the league. So, yeah, he's different. And you've got to think about this with those weapons, Peter, which you made a great point of.
Yeah.
Now you've got Lamar Jackson out on the edge, and you're a defensive back, and you think he's going to run, and all of a sudden you come off your man for a step to step up, and now the ball's sailing over your head. Okay, so, any sort of scramble drill, those teams going against the Baltimore Ravens, those defensive coordinators are going to be all week long. He scrambles, you just stay with your man. Do not break away. So he's going to have room to run because he's got those weapons that you just can't run away. You can't leave. Hopefully they'll be, they'll be serviceable at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense brings what team doesn't bring it in that defensively? Who do the worst defense is? I mean, is it Cincinnati? And saying that they're the worst defense in that division is not saying they're a bad defense.
Right.
No.
Well, very
not at all.
questionable defense compared to Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland with Myles Garrett. Good stuff, Al. Good stuff as always.
Hey,
Thanks a lot.
stay in that room. We'll be back to you.
As soon as the wife calls me to tell me I got to pick her up, I'm out. But I'm here for good right now.
All right, buddy.
I'll see you guys. Thank you.
All right,
Take
good
care.
stuff there. There we go. So what is the next division that we're going to be doing here? I think because we got AJ in here now. So what is AJ assigned to? Is it the AFC? Is it
AFC North.
also the AFC North? All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and go to, let's see. Now it's the NFC North. There it is. Let me go ahead. There it is. Okay. Let's go out to now the son here, AJ Curtis. Welcome to the Evolution here live on Amped Up Sports. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you guys tonight?
Doing great. Previewing
Hey,
here.
we're doing fine, AJ. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yep,
You know
go
what,
ahead.
AJ? I'm going to throw this question out right away.
Uh-huh.
Can Deshaun Watson get the Cleveland Browns to the top of the division?
So I figured that this question would come. I didn't think it would come this early, but I think, a lot of Browns fans and a lot of people in the NFL have been propping up Watson to go back to his years at, Houston when he was there. And I think a lot of the points have been made about, well, this is his first full off season. He's got the weapons to do it. He's got a roster built around him. I mean, Amari Cooper is a great weapon. Donovan Peoples-Jones. They get Elijah Moore from the Jets. Almost said Kareem Hunt, but he's not there. Nick Chubb in the backfield. I think there's a lot of pressure on Deshaun this year, and I think if he plays as well as everyone assumes, I think there's a chance that they can win this division.
You know what's funny is Cleveland can be a really good team, but they still could be the second best team in Ohio, right?
Oh, yeah. Behind Houday, the Bengals, and Joe Burrow. I mean, it's like the media can't get enough of the guy. Everyone was tweeting out yesterday saying that he's good to go. I know there was a lot of questions about it, but, I mean, he is the AFC North quarterback to be.
You know what, AJ? Who wins the division?
So I think who wins the division is I do believe that it's going to be the Bengals, who, if you've looked, are projected to finish second. It looks like the favorite is the Ravens, but I think the Bengals are going to win this division. Tough schedule. They got the Chiefs late in the season, but it's the Bengals. They made, some adjustments on defense, lost kind of that back end half of, Von Bell. He's in Carolina, but they signed Orlando Brown, and I think that is a huge acquisition for the team. It's going to give Joe Burrow a lot of time in the pocket, and I think that they're going to win this division.
All right, I asked your dad this question. I'm going to ask you the same one. Is this the new black and blue division of the NFL?
I think this is the division where everyone is just going to beat the brakes off each other. You've got the Steelers, who are a hard-nosed football team. You've got the Ravens, who preach defense. You've got the Browns, a very stout defense as well. I mean, heck, I wouldn't want to tackle David Njoku 2 times a year if I play them. I mean, he is a big guy. If he falls on me, you can best believe I'm heading to the medical tent. And then, you have the Bengals who have made it very, very far, in 2022, the 2021 season, 22 Super Bowl, made it to the Super Bowl. And I think that this is a division where it's going to be hard-nosed, fought every week. You're never going to know who's going to get the best of it. It's going to come down to the wire. And by the end, I think we will have some guys limping to the finish line.
Who's going to the Super Bowl and who wins, AJ?
So this year, I am an Eagles fan, and I do want revenge. I think it is a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. I mean, I think, you have Kelsey who hyperextended his knee this week in practice, but it's week 1. So he's got plenty of time to get healthy. And you've still got Patrick Mahomes, who is just a magician in the pocket. I think you get a rematch of the Super Bowl. I think it's the Chiefs and the Eagles get their revenge because there's no Sodfather.
There you go. All right. Thanks a lot, AJ, for joining us here on the Sports Web Live on Amped Up Sports for our special NFL preview show. Appreciate you, buddy. All right.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Good stuff there, Leo. So what do you think so far? Pretty self-explanatory when it comes
Take care, brother.
Yep. When it comes to, who's going to be in the Super Bowl. Lot of analysts tonight from Amped Up Sports and Night Sports Productions. They favor the Philadelphia Eagles. Are they the overwhelming favorite in your opinion?
Oh, I think so. And again, they got Peter. They got what they need. They got an established quarterback. They have a massive offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is serviceable. It's not great, but you got Dallas Goedert. You got 2 wide receivers who are just fabulous. And Peter, you can't coach size, you can't coach speed.
Right.
The Eagles' offensive line has the side, their wide receivers have the speed. Smith and Brown, I'll tell you what, it should be Smith and Wesson because they can kill you.
All right, so who do you want to go out to? Do you want to stay with the AFC North and stick with Mike Simzak, or do you want to go – let's go with Mike first with the AFC North because we're covering that division, and then we will get out to Ken from Philadelphia. Mike, welcome to the Sports Web Live here on Amped Up Sports Special NFL Preview. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Leo, I got dressed for the occasion.
I see. Look at this. Look at this guy right here. Look at that.
Michael, how are you, brother?
I broke out the dinner jacket. I broke out the burgundy dinner jacket and the ascot just for you.
All right, Leo, go for it, my friend.
Nice. Mike, let's get right to it. It's the black and blue division. It's the black and blue division. Who wins it? Or let's just say who's left standing at the end.
All right. Based on talent alone, I'm going to go with the Bengals. But please believe that, you're right. This is the black and blue division. The Steelers and the Ravens are going to give the Bengals a very good go. And let's not forget the Cleveland Browns. We really have not seen what Deshaun Watson has to give in the better part of 2 years.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Mike, who is going to finish last? I mean, I think you're going to have 4 teams that are within 1 or 2 wins of each other at the end of the season. What do you think?
I do think that you're going to have 4 teams who are all within a couple of wins of each other. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Browns to finish last. And here's why. Joe Burrow said it best. As long as he's the quarterback, the Bengals' Super Bowl window is open. Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, they gave him a new contract and they gave him a new offensive coordinator and a bunch of toys to play with. He is expected to have a very, very good season. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. And even after last year, why would I expect him, especially after last year, to have another one? Who's the odd man out in this equation? The Cleveland Browns.
Mike, how many teams from the AFC North go to the playoffs? We know one of them is going to win. Is the second and third team make it in?
That's really, really hard because there are other teams in the conference that are very, very good. To say that 3 teams from the AFC North make it in means that only one team from only one team from 2 of the East, the South, and the West only make it in. I'm going to go with 2 teams make it in because that's a safe bet. That means, you might have 2 teams from the EFC West. Look, the Chargers are a great team. And lest I forget, as an Eagles fan, the Chiefs still won the Super Bowl and they're still in the AFC West. You have the Jets in the East. Who knows what the Dolphins could do if Tua's healthy for full season? There's a lot going on. It's hard to sit here and say right now that more than 2 teams in the AFC North are going to make it into the playoffs. And I know that means one of, most likely, the Ravens, the Steelers, or the Browns are not going to make it into the play. Or 2 of the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Browns are not going to make it into the playoffs.
Mike, if you had to watch a game in the AFC North, who would it be and why? I'm thinking you're going to say the Steelers and the Browns, but well, who's your look at?
All right. Well, there are a lot of nuances that go in that question. Leo, am I watching that game live? What time of year am I watching it? Like, what's going on?
You know what? Let's say it's week 18.
All right, that's into December. Am I watching said game live?
Yes.
I'm watching
You're there.
Baltimore and whoever is playing against Baltimore in Baltimore because it's the most temperate climate in the AFC North.
Absolutely. Hey, you're going to be freezing.
Honestly, if you ask me, I would say right now I would want to watch I'd want to watch the Bengals and Ravens wherever they play. But if you're asking me to go to Cincinnati in the middle of December, I'm probably not having
it. I hear you. Hey, Mike, who you got in the Super Bowl and who wins?
Listen, Leo, you've known me for a long time. You know how I go. You know I bleed Eagles green. I'm going for
I know
the
you
Eagles
do.
and the team. I'm going for the Eagles and the team playing against the Eagles.
Hey, Mike, I want you to tell our listeners what's sitting up at NFL Films that you brought in for Greg Cosell and Ron Jaworski and Merle Hodge.
Okay, so sitting up at NFL Films is a helmet that I relocated from Iraq and brought back to them, and we gave it to them, I believe, after Christmas, almost about 20 years ago now, because it's our 25th anniversary of going over there. And it says, thanks NFL Films from Delta Company 404th Civil Affairs.
And they actually put it on TV, didn't they?
Yeah, Leo, that's a longer story than I think that we have time for. But yeah, it went on TV, and I think that'll be my crowning television moment. Hey, Leo, I went back to our 25th reunion. I can't believe that it's been 25 years since I went overseas, but I went back in April for our 25th reunion. You know, we've only lost 4 guys.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. You know what, Mike? Peter, you got any questions for Mike before we let him go?
No, great job, Mike. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the Sports Web Live on Amped Up Sports for our special NFL Preview Edition show.
Hey, you know what,
Yeah.
Mike? I'm waiting for you to light up that cigar with that dinner jacket, you know?
You know what? I have a fantastic Dominican cigar and a bottle of rum somewhere behind me. So if that's what you want, next time I come on, I promise you I will have them both.
Sounds like a plan. Hey, Mike, take care. Thanks for coming on tonight.
All right. Great talking to you both.
All right, good
Take care,
stuff
guys.
there. So we took care of the AFC North right there. Let's go out to Ken here from Philadelphia. What division is he covering? I'm wondering, because he's covering what? Philadelphia? So is that the NFC East also? There you go. Ken, welcome to the Sports Web here live on Amped Up Sports, our NFL Preview Edition show. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Can't hear you guys.
Uh-oh. Well,
how's that? Any better?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes. Can you
Yeah,
hear
we
us?
can hear you.
Uh-oh. Well, you can't hear
Still
us.
can't hear you.
You can't hear us?
Uh-oh. Well,
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Maybe try to log
Check
back
your,
in
check
again.
your computer,
Yeah.
Vern.
Yeah, try to do that.
Yeah, come back in.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if he can't hear us, then it's gonna be a problem.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we'll go question 1, question 2, question 3.
All right. Go ahead if you want to try this. Ken, can you
Hey,
hear
I'm
us?
back. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear us?
I still can't hear you.
Well.
All right. Hey, question 1. Go ahead and hold
1,
on. Ken,
2,
I'm gonna-
3. I could talk
Yeah.
about those. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead. Question 1 first.
So let's see. Who do I think is going to win the NFC East? Well, just hang on, guys. I think some Eagles fans have gotten into my neighborhood. Oh, look. It's a sign. Oh, no surprise there. I think the Eagles will definitely repeat. They're the class of the conference. They're the class of their division and a class of their conference. And it all boils down to about a dozen people on the team. First one, of course, is the coach. Nick Sirianni did a great job last year, breakout year. No reason to think he wouldn't also excel this year. However, he does have a lot of horses in the stall. The Eagles are stacked. I think, as Leo might have mentioned earlier, it boils down to the offensive line and the defensive line. For me, to have an offensive line with 2 10-year veterans involved is unheard of. Well, the Eagles have another 2 defensive linemen with 10 years of experience. That would be Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. And they're both going to be playing alongside Jordan Davis and Josh Sweat, with Hassan Reddick behind them and Jalen Carter as the backup rotation guy. Now, on the offensive side, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, and Jason Kelsey, the Hall of Famer. You can't get a better offensive line. So I do believe that the Eagles will be the class of the division. How far can they go? I think they can go all the way. I'm a bit of a homer. I live in the Philadelphia area, but I got to be honest with you. When you look at their roster, their coaches, you just can't compare. The Washington Commanders, Coach Ron Rivera, the New York Giants, although I do like Brian Daboll as the coach, and of course the Dallas Cowboys with Mike McCarthy, maybe a distant third if you ranked the coaches. So when you stack all that up, I do think that the Eagles will make a deep run. And who might the dark horse be coming out of division? Well, you know the history of the NFC East. You know that it's a different team that wins the NFC East every year, which means that all of the teams in the NFC East beat each other up all throughout the season. The paper favorite is the Cowboys, but I would like to think that the Giants are going to step up and perhaps be the dark horse that comes out of the NFC East this particular year. So I could just sum it all up with one point. And Leo, you'll appreciate this. If you would remember when we were both in training and we were resting on a Sunday afternoon, having dinner with the family, and when Mom brought out the chicken dinner and we got the biggest piece, we were nothing but smiles. And that's what I think the Philadelphia fans are at the moment. They're the kid that's getting the biggest piece of chicken on Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely. Hey, Ken, thank you for coming on. I know you can't hear us, but we'll work on that for the next one.
Appreciate you. There you go. So NFC East is covered tonight. I tell you what, let's get out to now the NFC North, which I know there's a lot of interested people in that division. And let's go out to two of these now. Let's go out to first, let's go out to Jim right there. And we also got Darren. Darren, guys, welcome to the Sports Web here live on Amped Up Sports, your special NFL edition. Leo, lead it off.
Guys, can you hear us okay?
Gotcha.
Good on my end.
All right, great. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll start with Darren and then go to Jim. Darren, we'll start with you. NFC North, I think it's wide open. Who do you think wins it?
So my gut tells me the Lions have nothing to fear from anybody else in that division. I mean, their most direct competition is probably the Vikings, but it's going to be a more uphill battle this year, I think, for the Vikings than they're prepared for. I think they got used to success they had last year, and I'm not so convinced that they're going to get as lucky.
You know what, Jim, I'll go to you. Who do you think wins the division?
I agree. I think it's Detroit's turn. The Vikings, they've they had a great regular season last year and then had a major flop in the playoffs and losing in the first round. And I think everybody knows that Kirk Cousins and that they got to win some big games, and they haven't been able to do that. They got just the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, and that can make up for a lot of things. Hawkinson's another very good player, tight end for the Vikings, and he's going to do well. But I really like the makeup of the Lions, and I'm a good. It's going to happen. I think the Lions are going to take it. With the Vikings, a very close second. It'll be a battle all the way.
All right, let me go back to you, Darren. Okay, Darren, let me go back to you. You both got the Lions. Are they one and done in the playoff, you think, or can they make some noise?
So I have the Lions winning one game in the playoffs. Their first since I believe it's 1991. I really think I'm seeing a lot, and so I'm an Eagles fan at heart, but I'm seeing a lot of the Eagles, almost kind of a sort of like last season for the Eagles, but maybe not quite as much success. But I see a lot of the team environment. I see a lot of camaraderie from offense to defense, within the offense, within the defense. I think they got a fantastic, stellar coaching staff. I think they're poised to grow with where they're at, with the personnel they've got, with the coaching staff they've got. I think they take that win in the playoffs and they build on it in the future. I think this is the start of the next 3 or 4 years getting Lions fans used to having success for the first time in a couple decades. So I'm looking forward to rooting for them. Put it that way.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, what do you think? The Lions one and done, or are they going to make a little run there?
we all know that the playoffs are different. You can play as well as you can during the regular season, and again, the Vikings showed that last year. They had a great regular season and then flopped in the playoffs. But it's a different animal, and that's what I don't see that Detroit has been able to do yet. I don't know. I honestly don't know the last time they've been in the playoffs, but they've got to put a lot of things together, and maybe because they're new, hey, that'll help them. But I don't. Yeah, I could give them a chance getting the game, but I don't think it's. I don't.
Well, I think he's frozen.
Past that.
Well, Darren, let's go back to you. Okay. Who finishes second? The Vikings, the Packers, or the Bears?
Yeah, it's got to be the Vikings, but I do think the Bears are going to give them a run for their money. The Bears are actually my dark horse for the division. I think Justin Fields has been making leaps and strides since he came into the league. He came in a pretty raw talent with not much else around him. He's starting to get some more tools around him. He's got DJ Moore there in Chicago now, so that'll help give him some weapons to deal with. Their main concern is going to be their defensive line. They kind of stripped it for spare parts over the past couple of years, and they're trying to rebuild that side of the ball. But if I had to guess, it's probably going to be the Vikings with the Bears really giving them a run for the money. That's going to be my big thing to watch for this division is seeing how much of a fight the Bears put up. But I think Green Bay is in too much of a rebuilding mode. They've got some weapons. They've got what amounts to be effectively a rookie quarterback, even though he's not technically, but a quarterback with not much experience. They've got some young talent on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense is a relative question mark, and I think there's even some question marks on their coaching staff too. So, I think it's Lions, then Vikings, then Bears, then Packers.
All right, Jim, let's go back to you. If you haven't froze up, you got the Lions. Who finishes second?
Yep, I'm with Darren there with the Vikings. I think they're going to be a solid second place team, and it's going to be a battle for that top spot. And then we talk about the dark horse, and I'm going to go against it a little bit. And if you're really talking dark horse, a team that's really done, nobody's thinking about it at all. I'm going to talk about the Packers a little bit. Yeah, Jordan Love's brand new. Sometimes that can be good. Sometimes that can be really bad. I think we're going to find out a lot. Hey, who plays in the first game, with the Packers and the Bears? They're going to meet up in Chicago that first game. So we're going to find out a lot right there, right out the get-go. But again, if we're talking very, very, very dark horse, I'm going to go with the Packers, and I don't, see them finishing, either one or two, but hey, who knows what can happen when they kick it off.
You know what, Jim? I'm going to stay with you for our last question. Who's in the Super Bowl and who wins it?
I'm going to go with the team that's been there so often lately, with the Chiefs, from the AFC. That's for sure. I think they're, by far the best coach, best team around right now. Certainly Buffalo can come in there too. That could be a possibility there too. And I'm going to go with the 49ers. I don't know why. I just think, they're a team, people that are, not going to be looked at a lot, but I really like the 49ers. It's easy to say the Eagles or, I don't know about the Cowboys or stuff like that, but that's who I'm going to put out there right now, Leo.
And who wins it, Jim? Who wins it?
Oh, I go with the Chiefs.
Okay. But Darren, I hate to have to even ask you this because I kind of know what the answer is, but I'll throw it out anyway. Who's going to be playing at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas for the Lombardi Trophy, and who wins it?
Well, Leo, as a wise man once told me, you cut me, I bleed green. So, I've got the Eagles going to the Super Bowl again, following up from last year. Although, it's funny. the recent injury to Travis Kelce, I think, is going to be an interesting storyline to see play out for the rest of the season. Normally, prior to this week, I would have said a rematch of the last Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the Eagles, but the injury bug is hard to shake, and who knows what happens with that for every team in the NFL, let alone the Chiefs. But I think you're already starting to see that 1-2 punch of Mahomes and Kelce starting to break down a little bit in Kansas City. It'll be interesting to see how they play around that tonight, actually, in a couple minutes. I actually have the Lions covering tonight, but back to your question, I think the Bengals are going to get back there. Joe Burrow is an absolute stud. He's going to be playing for a contract. Same with Jamar Chase. Same with I always mix up Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, but I think it's T. Higgins that's up for a contract as well. Yeah. So I think all of those guys have something to prove. They're all gunning out for a paycheck, and I think Bengals are going to be the AFC team to beat, and I think they're going to get into the playoffs. As far as a winner, gosh, I can't pick against the Birds. You know that.
And still live there. You can't do it. Peter, you got any questions of the guys before we let them go?
No, guys, thanks a lot for joining us here on Amped Up Sports on the Sports Web, your special NFL preview edition show.
Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, good stuff there. So let's get off here. Let's wrap this up, my friend. Final thoughts on the NFL season, which is about to start here in just a couple minutes with the Chiefs, and of course the Chiefs and the Lions.
I want to throw it to you first. Who you got the Super Bowl, and who do you have winning it?
I got the Eagles versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And it's tough, man, because I'm going back and forth on this. I think the Eagles could get it done this year. I really do. I think they could do it. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on it. So I'll pick the matchup for right now. I guess I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah,
so
sounds good. Peter, we got 14 people through tonight. That's a great job from your end, getting everybody there. And Ken Podolak, we got to give him kudos. Doing it, Helen Keller couldn't hear.
Yes, he could not hear. Definitely stay tuned for more on Amped Up Sports, as we'll be live from USF, of course, Raymond James Stadium, as the Bulls are playing Florida A&M on Saturday. So we'll have a special pregame and postgame with the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Thanks a lot for joining me here on this special edition of the Sports Web, my friend. All right.
Thank you, Peter. And hey, listen to us Saturday night, because the 800-pound gorilla shows up the following Saturday.
Yep,
Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Peter, great job.
Sir.
Let's go watch some football.
Let's go watch some football. There you go. The legend says it best himself. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in to the evolution of Sports Talk Television on this special Thursday night edition NFL preview show. Happy football night. How do we end this show as we always do on a Monday and Wednesday, and you just never know? Watch for the sign. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for the NFL fan tonight, it's your time. Have a great night, guys.